Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Malifaux and Game 3 of Under the Hanging Tree Strength of the Fallen 2017 tournament. It's after lunch, I've had some ice cream, so I'm feeling a bit more refreshed, and I've come back to sit in my puddle that I've been secreting. Because wouldn't you know it, I'm still on table 6. And this is my house now, boyo. The strategy and scheme pool are a little weird, so we've got interference with close deployment, and I reckon I'm going to need to make the most of that this game as I'm facing Nicodem. Again, my first time facing this master, which means I don't really know too well what he does or what it looks like when he does it, but I know he's going to summon lots of shit and try to gum up the board, so I need to get at him pretty quickly, I reckon, so I'm going right to the line with a Canine Remains, the Zombie Chihuahua, Sebastian with those Na'ars, McMorning with Decaying Aura, Moonlighting and Plastic Surgery, a Nurse, Rafkin, the Carrion Emissary with McMorning's Conflux, a Canine Remains and another Canine Remains. Pinocchio has brought a Necropunk, Philip and the Nanny with Haunting Cries and Take Back the Night, a Rotten Bell, Ruby or Rose, whatever she was being called, Mortimer with My Little Helper and Corpse Bloat. We've got a Malifaux Child, Nicodem with Maniacal Laugh, Undertaker and Reaper Grin, and Anna Lovelace with My Little Helper. So the plan is to rush him and try to contain the horde before it can get out of its deployment zone and totally overwhelm me. And yeah, there's probably going to be lots of deaths, so I'm going to take Dig the Graves. It's a really fun scheme. Still not sure it's the best with McMorning, but I like it. And I'm going to take a quick murder because both Anna Lovelace and Mortimer are candidates for this. Always good if your opponent can't be sure which one you're going for, and I'm going to take Mortimer because Anna will be a pain to try to push towards with McMorning, and he's likely to do half the work for me with that Corpse Bloat. I'm also going to play quite conservatively with my Emissary this game. I know people love to kill him, and I know I love to oblige them by flying him right up into the face of their crew, but I'm going to try just for once holding him back a bit. Because this is a tournament, and if other people are anything like me, they want to go for the nice, easy, not thinking too hard schemes. So I'm betting on my opponent taking quick murder here. So we're going to turn 1. I appear to be playing with a 5-card hand, but it could be I've already cheated or something, or dropped it for defensive. Who knows? So I send my dogs out early. I know he's going to be out activating me heavily, probably. And for once I try a bit of scheme bluffing. Those of you who watch my videos know I'm about as tactful and artful in disguising my schemes as a cow with a blunderbuss up its bottom. But I'm giving it a try this game, so we've got the dogs dropping scheme markers all along within 2 inches of the centre line. Am I doing claim jump? My opponent is dropping scheme markers. I think 3 gets 3 down for Philip and the Nanny to go fast and eat to draw a ton of cards into his hand. Sebastian's not doing much, so I move him out from his cover, his hidey little hole, and make him go defensive. I need him for my dog summoning this game, and I do not want him being lured out by the bells. So this is just in case that happens. He will hopefully survive better the attacks that will come his way. I probably really should have used the opportunity to get him a little bit further up the board. My opponent gets a bit greedy and lures the Emissary before he's activated. Getting 1 success, and he ends up around here, so I go with him and jump him all the way back to here and put up the shards. And this isn't a great placement, to be honest. I don't want to put him in the centre because that'll kind of block me, and I want him to be somewhere near where Sebastian can be near the zombie when it pops out. But I've left this gap here between the post and the shards that the Emissary can very, very easily be seen by the core of his crew. So I probably could have done that better. Mortimer cuts out his spleen and then digs some graves to get lots of corpse markers, which then Nicodem turns into zombies with Mwahaha and then summons 2 more Rotten Bells and a Punk Zombie. And I'm suddenly very glad I moved the Emissary all the way back. And so the games begin, the bells pull the Emissary, luring him towards them, although he can't actually fit his base anywhere around here, so we work out the closest he can be to them is probably over here. So he jumps the building, just a little bit of extra ground he has to cover, and that flight is really a double-edged sword with him, and I think he manages to resist the second attempt. So wanting to try to be a bit careful here, I go with Rafkin and drop a scheme marker within 6 inches of the centre. Am I going for Search the Ruins? Who knows? I guess I was sort of worried that McMorning would get lured in. I don't know why. So I've been trying to space the models out so that they can't fit anywhere, or that it will take him extra distance to go round. Which is why Rafkin hasn't gone up as far as I probably should have put her. The second bell quite sensibly goes for the emissary again, pulling him another 6 inches forward, but I stop the final shot, which allows McMorning to then push up over here, walk around, and push the emissary back with an injection. Sorry, McMorning would have been up around here, and then I go defensive. Anna does 3 damage to Dog over here, and I think the punk zombie just dithers a bit, moves around maybe. Who knows, this is how we end the turn, and McMorning poison pushes right up in his face to really put the pressure on. I was a bit worried about getting a rogue my opponent getting a rogue necro this turn, but now that's not happened. His crew doesn't really have a lot that immediately threatens McMorning. I'm sure that'll change as more punk zombies start arriving, but in the first couple of moves of next turn, I'm not anticipating too much danger for me, and I can really put a lot of hurt on him. So we're going to turn 2, I get a really solid hand. Yeah, my cards were pretty good this game. I get the initiative, and as I say, I don't really feel McMorning's in a lot of danger, so I go with the emissary and just run the fuck away. Hide behind the building and put up the shards where they'll be useful to Sebastian next turn. I must credit Insidiously Mad for this idea. This game reminded me of a game he told me about last tournament where he ran his Sensei U away from Vedita rule game, and I decided to try the same thing. And not having the emissary around does limit me a little bit, but not too much actually. The crew can get by pretty well without him. And from where he is, I can still get the shards up to give me zombies, and as the game progresses I can get another model off him for his zero action summon, just to help hold these backfield quarters. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty happy with this. Looks like these punk zombie charges McMorning to try to lock him down. I decide to go with the dog and just run it the frick away from Anna so I can hold this table quarter. Again, there's nothing yet building up to pressure McMorning, and his defensive kept him pretty safe from the punk zombie. I don't think it did very much damage. Scheme markers start to go down for Nicodem's crew. I think he might have failed his leap on his Necropunk, who I pretty much just completely forget about all this game because I can't see it behind that building. Up over here to the left. But I can see the wheels of the card machine starting to whir, and I kind of need to get McMorning going now. What I should have done, I think, is to get Sebastian up and summon a dog, and that looks like he could probably get within 8 inches of McMorning, given the emissary would give him a bit of extra walk, which would allow me to use my push. I think that would be pretty good. But instead I think I get this dog up to drop a scheme marker by this punk zombie, because my thinking is, I can't really get out of engagement with it. I really want to take down Mortimer, but I'm just not going to be able to kill this punk zombie with enough AP left to get the job done with on the Gravedigger. I think Mortimer goes and cuts himself to make lots of corpse markers and stuff, and again damaging himself, not using soul stones to prevent. So he's quite hurt, and then I see it, and it's just like an epiphany moment. Oh my goodness, this is going to be so good. So let me just remind everyone how Rancid Transplant works. It's a cast 7 with a range of 8, targeting defense, and after succeeding, the target takes 2 poison. It then takes an additional 2 poison for every undead model within 3 inches of it, and those undead models then take 1 damage. So normally you do this by surrounding your opponent with canine remains, which reduces their defense and allows you to pile on a ton of poison, and you don't care about damaging your dogs. Alternatively, McMorning's plastic surgery upgrade makes things within 3 inches of him undead. And this is why that upgrade is his most important upgrade, I believe. It also gives him his poison push. So yeah, that upgrade you take above all others, because it means if he gets stuck in with a ball of things within 3 inches, he can kill pretty much anything in the game. But it does mean you have to be pretty close up and personal. However, this is a situation I haven't encountered before, where all of that setup is a little bit unnecessary, because we've got undead, undead, undead. I was so happy when I saw this. So McMorning just dinks himself around over here. So you can see Mortimer, and Rancid transplants him, putting 2, 4, 6, 8 poison on him, and he's only got 4 or 5 wounds left after all the stuff he's been doing to himself. I follow up with Expunge and place a Flesh Construct right smack bang in the middle of all these dudes. And collect probably the most satisfying 3 points I've ever scored. The bells are all a bit more damaged and interfered with. Oh, it was so good. And then I used my final AP to hit the punk zombie, take it down to its last wound and give it poison. So at the end of the turn it's going to turn into a canine remains. And oh my god, I'm Captain Smug at this point. So the rest of the turn is essentially me just running everyone up as far as I can. Sebastian gets me another dog from the zombie that was caused by the shards last turn. A new horde of zombies arrives and turns into punk zombies. The bells lure McMorning in and try to bite him, but I got pretty lucky. He didn't take very much damage. Nicodem gets his own Flesh Construct out and kills mine. I'm hanging on to my 3 to stop it reactivating, and yeah, McMorning fighting the horde. So many corpses, and it looks like Anna's dropped a ski marker to try to set up dig their graves. And I'm perfectly happy for her to be spending her AP doing that. What is probably turn 3, moving pretty fast, as you can tell by the shitty picture. Again, just another great hand. Soulstoning is my friend at the moment. And talking about speed, I must say actually, my opponent was, he really impressed me. His activations were really snappy. He had exactly what he wanted to do planned out, and the slow bones in this game is definitely me. Yeah, so I get a dog from the punk zombie, and I think I might have gone first again because my luck is running hot this game. McMorning takes out a couple of the rotten bells, turning one into another Flesh Construct, so just jam everything up and just hold him in this zone so nothing can splinter out to the winds. I've got the other quarters pretty held down, and then leave this bell on 1 wound and 1 poison, so it'll become another dog as soon as it activates. Just great. As the rest of the turn pans out, my Flesh Construct goes down to punk zombies and possibly Anna, and I think he might score to dig their graves from that. The bell turns herself into a dog, and a punk zombie quickly puts it down. Nicodem summons a Shikome and makes it fast, and I take it down with a dog and Rafkin, scoring me dig their graves. And the rest of the team's just running up behind. I think my nurse paralyzes the Flesh Construct, which was not a good idea. It healed it to full, and it wasn't really that much of a threat. I think I was just trying to keep McMorning as healthy as possible, given the number of punk zombies in close vicinity, but it probably would have been better to just drop another scheme marker. Moving up like this was not a good idea, really, because I can't see the Necropunk behind this building. He could have leapt over and started to interfere me up. I think it failed its leap, and to be honest that was probably for the best, as it wouldn't have engaged me enough to take the quarter, and would have been a pretty easy dig their graves target next turn. A bell has run off for this table quarter, so it's now being contested by my dog, who is now fully right ensconced in the corner, and my emissary is lurking, waiting for his opportunity to run over here and drop a Flesh Construct to go and take this quarter back next turn. At the end of the turn, McMorning Poison pushes over to Philip and the Nanny, because I'm worried this thing will eat scheme markers that I'm trying to put down to score, and I want to try to get away a bit from double punk zombie. We go into turn 4, and time is really short now, and I'm trying to pick up points as quickly as possible, and I just totally fuck things up. So McMorning goes, he uses injection to get Sebastian over here to put down a scheme marker, and I'm really worried about Philip and the Nanny eating scheme markers, which I need to drop, so I decide to take him out. He's got manipulative, and I basically just burn through my hand trying to kill him and failing. Nicodem puts a ton of zombies in my face to interfere me up, and he gets a Shikome, which I poison and try to, I set up with poison and get a scheme marker down, ready to be killed, but he then flaps it away to come and stand over in this corner, which is very annoying. I think he gave it fast. So I spend my last couple of moves charging Philip, trying to get through and kill him. He hasn't got very much damage left, but I can't do it with that freaking manipulative up. In hindsight, should have moved the emissary and popped its Flesh Construct to go and block this corner. But hindsight 2020, and so I think at the end of this turn, all my guys are pretty much engaged with all his stuff. He's got 2 in this corner and enough in here, so Nicodem finally scores for the strategy. I do not, I don't believe. And we end the game there. Nicodem scored 1 point for interference, no points for a quick murder, and 2 points for dig their graves. I think Anna was dropping ski markers, and then, you know, I was losing dogs and flesh constructs. As we went, McMorning scored 2 points for interference, 1 point for dig their graves, and 3 points for quick murder, making this game 6-3 to the true necrotic king McMorning. So yeah, that was a real blast. Obviously very, very happy with how things went in the early game. I can see why Nicodem is considered one of the strongest masters out there. The amount of stuff he was able to summon was just obscene, and him being able to just reduce damage like Kalodi to kind of like decoy damage off onto other models makes him a very unrewarding target when he's sat in the middle of his blob of death. But on the other hand, McMorning frickin' loves that blob of death, as it allows me to scalpel out models really, really easily. That was very much appreciated. I feel I could have picked a better scheme, so Search the Ruins in hindsight, or even Claim Jump, but probably Search the Ruins would have been pretty nice given how the game went. Could have done that much more easily. Or Accusation, but I would have needed to get my the rest of my crew up much quicker. McMorning was pretty much on his own for most of the time, which just shows what a badass he can be. Obviously not happy with how I played the late game. Bunching up like this is just a bit silly, given how easy it is for something to get in there and to interfere with lots of models at once. And Sebastian probably shouldn't be coming towards the fray, as I need things not to die from poison. And yeah, attacking defensive manipulative target was just horrendous. That was such a bad idea. Should have injectioned Rafkin over and gone for the punk zombie. But under pressure, so otherwise pretty happy. And yeah, I ran out of dogs again this game, had to borrow my opponent's, so many thanks to him for providing those. 4 dogs is just not enough, and I'm going to have to pick up some more. But I'll stop talking there. I really enjoyed this game, I hope you did too, and many thanks to my opponent. We'll have to get a rematch at some point. Take care.